Welcome back, folks. Sheepdog Smokey here, and hope you're having a good Monday so far. Something that I've talked about with friends, and I have mentioned in passing here and there otherwise, is that the very people who are screaming we need to move to a 100% mail in vote for federal elections are the very people blocking remote voting for Congress. Recently, Nancy Pelosi was asked about remote voting for the House and Senate, and very blatantly says that the technology is not there yet. But mail in ballots for the November general election, well, those are fine for us. But she will not allow Congress to use any form of remote voting because she says it's not secure. Now, I can tell you, this device right here, which actually will be going away soon, recognizes my face. And my iPad recognizes my thumbprint. And there are times when it will tell me it cannot use the biometric login, I have to use my code. But I can tell you that biometrics are already at a point where the House could easily use a thumbprint identification. Or, they could host a Zoom meeting. I'm sure Zoom would be happy to accommodate a 435-person meeting for the House and a 100-person meeting for the Senate to allow for them to meet and discuss and debate and ultimately vote. It is the height of hypocrisy. Honestly, it is. Because the very people demanding that we citizens just bow to their vaunted intelligence and accept that we will no longer be able to go and vote. We must trust them to not cheat, as we know they already do, when they force mail-in ballots. But it's not secure enough for them. The epitome of all animals are equal, some animals are more equal than others. The problem is we have, as a nation, let this situation get to where it is. 40 years ago, the nation was not nearly as divided as it is today. Yes, we had very staunch conservatives, very staunch liberals, and every level in between. But we did not have people rioting in the streets because Ronald Reagan got elected in 1980. We didn't have people coming out of the woodworks after 30 plus years to allege sexual assault because someone was nominated by a party they don't like. But we now have people who have been in office for 30, 35, and 40 years. And they have slowly wormed their way into controlling things so much that they actually believe having someone just magically appear to accuse a Supreme Court nominee is just fine. They actually believe that saying you will vote by mail, but we will not, is fine. These are the people who also demand that taxes need to go up. And they just completely disallow any discussion of closing tax loopholes. There's a lot of posts that have gone around social media that certain cruise lines that are officially not U.S.-based companies should not receive U.S. bailout funds, and I agree with that. If they're not supporting the U.S. economy by paying taxes into the U.S. economy, then U.S. tax dollars should not be used to prop them up. But the problem is that the billionaires like Gates and Steyer, Cuomo, and the multi-millionaires like Pelosi and Harris, and Schumer, and the rest of them use all of the loopholes that they will never tell you about to pay as little in tax as they can, while screaming and yelling that other people who are very wealthy and use those loopholes should not be allowed to. The only step they have left to take is to actually try to pass a law exempting themselves from all U.S. laws, at which point it will be There are no loopholes. You will pay this amount of tax. We are not subject to U.S. law, so we pay no tax. That will ultimately fail, and they will ultimately try to ram it down our throats, and it will fail every time. We have needed term limits for a long time, because term limits would mitigate to a large degree the propensity to say, you must accept that this is the only way forward, but we will not be using it. You must accept higher taxes because we want our loopholes. You must accept that we are your rulers because we are. The problem is people still oppose it because they still bring up that people go to Congress and they need more than 2 or 3 terms to get things done. Every time that's said, my instant thought is, show me one person who's been in Congress 2 terms and actually gotten something done that was good. And it's very hard to do. Alaska had a bridge to nowhere that the people of Alaska said we don't want. And Congress said, nope, we've already appropriated the funds, it will be built. And there's more and more and more of that all the time. And the problem is, as we move forward from here, we have more and more and more people who have been indoctrinated for 13 years of their life in public schools who actually believe Congress is doing a good thing by trampling on civil liberties and constitutional rights. And it's very hard to wake up the ignorant to the truth. Some are. There are a lot of them that are waking up to the truth right now, and that's a good thing. But by and large, it's not happening at the rate needed. We're already, now that certain states are slowly beginning to reopen their economies, we're already hearing people talk about the second wave of coronavirus. In a recent video, I made a point about how when you flatten a curve, you actually do things wrong. I understand that, yes, had the curve not been flattened, had the economy not been shut down, you would have seen the number of deaths that we've had happen in a very small window of time. And liberals in Congress and the media would have been screaming that, see, we told you to shut down your economy. You greedy people didn't want to do it, and now people are dead. There's probably more dead now than there would have been had the curve been allowed to go the way it should have. Because when you have a very steep curve with a very quick drop-off, antibodies get built up by most people. And then you end up with something like the flu, which is still deadlier than coronavirus has been. But the problem is they're not doing this for a sense of safety or health. This is a method of control. I've made the assertion that I will not be taking a COVID-19 vaccine. And that's because I know vaccines take longer to develop than we probably have. And they're already talking about one being almost ready. This is in a matter of about 6 months, 7 months. The only 2 options for that are it's useless and just will include a microchip to track people, which I will not take, or that means it truly was an engineered virus and the vaccine was ready before it was released. And it was released as a method of control. I've been all over town. I've been to Fort Worth. I've been to other places. My life has only really changed in that I don't get up in the morning and leave my house to go to work. I get up in the morning and walk 20 feet to my desk. 30 feet. But I still go to the grocery store. I still went to Target and bought a couple of, well, not Target, Walmart, and bought a couple of plates today because I'm tired of using paper plates and things like that. So my life hasn't changed all that much. I wasn't going to movies. I wasn't going to bars. I didn't go to restaurants that often. I don't want to spend the money to do that. I like spending my money on things that I like spending my money on. And my parents have gone to the store and they've gone on errands and things like that. None of us are getting sick. But people are still screaming, even after there has been just proof after proof after proof that China hid the news about this. They all but locked down the province of Wuhan. While they were still letting people leave China, people from Wuhan could not travel within China. And only when it was starting to be detected in the wider world did they move from ignoring it and hiding it to blaming other people for it. And the media and the Democrats in Congress just cheered as they had a way to attack conservatives. And then they come out and say, well, no, it's not secure enough for us, but it's secure enough for you peasantry. If this doesn't wake up people by the thousands or even millions, I don't know that anything will. There's a link at the very top of my description after the little tagline for every video that says merch. That is a shirt very much based on Plato's allegory of the cave. Only when you see the puppeteers do you escape. And you can escape into the light. And the puppeteers are not even trying to hide anymore. They're calling for 100% vote by mail for the general election, but they will not allow even electronic remote voting for Congress because, well, it's just not safe yet. I don't understand how people aren't just screaming at them daily, all over every platform possible, about their hypocrisy. And hopefully this will wake people up, but I'm not holding my breath. Let me know what you think, though. As always, be civil in the comments. If any of the idiots who are showing their hypocrisy show up, I will be blunt, but I will not be vulgar. The rest of us can discuss, dissent, and debate like adults because we are adults. Please also remember to like and share the video to widen the conversation and to grow the channel. I am doing the giveaway at 500, 1,000, and 1,500 subscribers, so you'll want to make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications as well, so that you know of all new content. Until next time, everyone, have a wonderful day.